easy, take it easy. I took girls in the very first text I sent. I don't beg no lovers, I don't beg no friends. If you wanna link, we can link right now. Skeppy with some Drake, it's a ting right now. Are you feeling good tonight?
This thing got me thanking God for life. I can't explain. I can't explain.
When I was in school, being African was a diss. Sounds like you need help saying my surname, miss. Try to communicate, but every day is like another episode of Everybody Hates Chris. Ever since mom said, son, you are a king, I feel like Floyd when I'm stepping into the ring. Just spoke to the boy, said he's flying in with a ting. We're touching the road to celebrate another win. We're going in. Why am I repping these ends, man? I don't know. The government played roulette with my
WEFM, the new fresh sound.
Voice of the Man Bongo Prime representing for Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9.
WhatsApp us or call us at 457-9997. Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And good morning, and we are back with you for another day here on WEFM with Activated Mornings program with Nicole, Joseph Chin, and Roleza Samuel. All right. It looks a bit overcast right now. I can see, I don't know if it's a possible rain cloud over the sea, but yeah, it seems like it's going to be a cool day. But you know, we are in the rainy season, so it's either sun going to shine or rain going to come. What is rainy season or not? Is the same thing all the time, right? Either rain going to come or sun going to shine. Rain going to come or sun going to shine. Right, I said that. All right. So yeah, let's get up and get going, and let's make today the best day that we possibly can. All right. So good morning to Bob, who is already on the job. Good morning to you, Anna. Good morning to Troublesome Asman. I don't think I'd ever take away that title from you, Asman, of being troublesome. So good morning to you. All right. So whether you are on your way to work, whether you are going to Kingston to do a bit more preparation for back to school for your children, whether you're just going into Kingston because you probably got paid early and you're going to take care of some bills before the crowd descends on town on Friday. Yeah. All right. Make the best of it and safe travels and safe journey. Okay. Good morning to you, Nicole.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, St. Vincent. Good morning everywhere around the world. And good morning to you, Roleza. How are you?
I'm tired, I know. I'm real tired.
Oh God, it's only Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday. I'm real tired, but I'm okay otherwise.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
you know they call Wednesday hump day. So like you say, Camel, what? You're back tired?
Probably just that. I just need to get over today and then but it's just just sometimes you don't always wake up with the same energy.
Vitality.
Yeah, the same energy, right? So yeah, that's what it is.
We have to talk about that one of these days because it's so important. It's important.
About recognizing it.
About acknowledging it and how to manage it. Yeah,
I think that is what it is. And I think sometimes people feel guilty of even saying it, especially in this case, because I'm already on the job. Somebody might be like, oh, you probably shouldn't say that, because you're on the airwaves, etc. But I mean, a human too, so some days you would feel like it, some days, not that I don't want to be here, but I just feel tired this morning. That's just what it is, right? But yeah.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So Miss Dianna, shout out to the people on vacation, Tuna. Boy, Dianna, you begging for a block this morning. You begging for a block on that WhatsApp. But anyhow, Dianna is saying good morning. I will be hearing more from Dianna and her team after 8 today. All right. So good morning to Dianna, who's just rubbing it in my face, that she is on vacation, but it's quite okay. All righty, so let's head into some topics at this time. So there's a story that I came across last night. It's actually an opinion piece that says this is from One News St. Vincent, and it says Friday afternoons a breeding ground for underage drinking and misbehavior, says youth. All right, so apparently it's written by a youth. Now, this youth is saying that as the 2025-2026 academic year commences in less than 1 week, students across the country are preparing to return to the classroom. With them will return the routines, behavior, and cultural practices. One particular pattern demands greater attention: how our young people are spending their time after school, especially on Friday afternoons. A trend has taken root at a well-known commercial establishment with multiple locations. On Fridays, roughly between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m., large groups of students gather at these spots. What might appear to be mere socializing has in some cases become a breeding ground for underage drinking, possible verbal and physical altercations, indecent exposure, and inappropriate behavior. All right. So I'm not going to necessarily read further because I know that many of us, as Vincentians, especially those of us living here, can identify exactly what this person is talking about. All right. So the person highlighted 3 possible impacts that he spoke about. Well, I'm assuming as a he. All right, let me take that back. The person has identified the spiritual impact, the decline of moral standards, the potential economic effects. All right, and he's saying, what can we do, I suppose, as a society? And they're putting forward spiritual guidance, community and school engagement, business and policy support. And he or she put as a personal note that they once walked in their shoes, as in the shoes of the young individuals who limed, experimented, made mistakes, and faced the consequences. And they're not speaking from a place of judgment, but from an experience and concern. And they know what it is to chase the temporary pleasures only to be met with emptiness and confusion. All right, so the person is offering some word of advice there. Now, this is one of these topics that many within society have spoken about before, right? About the liming, the socializing of students, particularly on a Friday afternoon at certain places, the parking lots of certain business places. What it is that I fail to see in this, and it's interesting, I am curious to know what the age of this youth is, because I think youth ends at 35, so I'm not quite sure how youthful a youth they are or how mature of a youth they are. All right, the person's putting forward this, but I saw nothing in this that spoke about parental guidance, in a sense where it is one thing for students to be hanging out and liming between 3 to 7. It is another thing to ask, whose house are you walking into after 7? All right, I know it could not have been possible for me as a student, especially in uniform, to be on the streets. And I think I don't believe it's just based on the school that I went to, which was GHS. But I think there was like this rule where you should not have been, I'm not sure if it was an actual rule, life is just one of those things, where you should not have been out on the streets after
in uniform after a certain hour.
Right. Without being in the company of your parents after 6, right? But I didn't see anything of that in this article. And this is why many times we try to pass on blame to other persons without the starting point. And in many cases, the starting point here goes directly back to the parents. Now, as I've voiced before, one of the things that I see young people facing is that there aren't enough spaces for them to socialize amongst themselves. We don't have parks. We don't necessarily have recreational centers. And by parks, I mean not playing fields, right? Not for you to go up and run up and down. I mean like parks where they can just sit and socialize. We don't have those spaces where they can socialize in a healthy environment. I know that as a student, when I was going to high school, well, at that time, our school on a Friday used to break at 1:30. No, the goal of that was, it used to break at 1:30 for 5 years. It broke at 1:30. And the reason behind it was to get students involved in extracurricular activities. So you could have gone and played pan, you could have done this, you could have done that. But many of us were not involved in those activities. And many of us, myself included, with my other friends, we would lime on a Friday afternoon. We would lime at Little Tokyo, right? It was myself, grammar school students, and other students. But we were in an open space, and it was never after 6, right? Never after 6. I used to make sure I reach home before my mother reached home so that she could see where I am when she got home, right? But the thing of it is that it wasn't a healthy, and well, not so much a healthy environment, but it was a space where we felt comfortable and we were able to socialize. But I don't think that many young people now have that opportunity. And I think there are many times when we come down hard on them. I will say that I do not appreciate seeing them liming, drinking, and whatever else that they're doing. I think young people can socialize without having to do all of that. But maybe there needs to be other activities or other avenues opened up for them to be able to socialize in a healthy environment. Nicole, what's your take?
Yeah, well, my first question is always, where is the adult supervision? Where is the caregiver? Where is the parent guardian, right? And in asking that question, the next thing I'm usually concerned about is, where are they getting the alcohol from? Who's giving them access to alcohol? So if it is that alcohol is being sold to a minor, then there's got to be a level of accountability placed on whoever that vendor is. If it is they're getting it from home, we have to now start talking about how we are addressing the parenting dialogue. But you see, it's so touchy because sometimes, and especially in these days, children are sometimes not parented by their immediate person who has given birth to them, their parent. It might be an aunt, it might be a relative, it might be a grandparent in many instances. Or sometimes it might also be inside of a vulnerable home or vulnerable space where this might actually be the way that they are going to earn a living or a livelihood through. And this is not me justifying it, but I'm painting that picture because sometimes you have to understand what is at the core of this situation. And I kind of using a reference that I know about, but I don't want to say too much because, well, it is subject right now to being addressed professionally. But, many times we have to ask our questions to the parents or the household, the adults in the household. And if it is that these children, as you said, or youth, sorry, let me rephrase that, have limited access to recreation, we also have to think about how we are going to engage as adults in distracting them. What are the social programs? What are the activities that are going to probably attract their attention outside of a device, remote from a device? Because that's the other thing. Devices are getting in the way as well, not necessarily all the time, but sometimes it's also the catalyst for something that they've learned or that they want to express or experiment with. So it's such a delicate subject and it's also such a complex issue. But I know, as you say, you didn't. First of all, I was afraid of the dark. Me, I was not going home when as soon as it started to fall dark, I was literally skating home. And if I wasn't with an adult or with friends or peers, worse yet, as I see 4 o'clock hit, that's my marker to say it's time to head home. 4 o'clock was my cutoff, right? And so it makes me wonder, what is it that is now that rule in the house about? And I know we have extracurricular activities, lessons, all kinds of other things, but what's the rule in the house when it comes to what time you're reaching home?
Exactly.
Because it must have a rule. I mean, there was no stated rule in my home. But for me, I knew at 4 o'clock, that was the cutoff time. That was just it for me.
Yeah, there has to be rules. And if they're not put in place and if they're not, if parents don't adhere to them, then the children are going to just do whatever it is that they want to do. If persons recognize that in the caption, I also have transportation. I wanted to touch on the transportation factor a bit because, well, we're going to be out of time. I think I might have to leave this again for tomorrow because to me, it's so important when I think about there are plans to have the redesign of Little Tokyo. And I think part of that whole socializing, whole conversation that we're talking about has to do with there not necessarily being a central place for many persons to take public transportation, particularly on the leeward side. Right. But we would address that maybe tomorrow or whenever we can get to squeeze this topic in again. All right. So because it really does bother me when I see children have to be walking further and further and further outside of Kingstown just to be able to get transportation. But we would probably touch on that at another time. All right. So we are going to head on out as it is 7:35 and head directly into today's traffic talk.
Nothing else sounds as good as